Stop! Do not change that dial. Don't hit that back button. If you want, you can lower the volume. Apparently, I'm pretty loud. You've just walked into the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast with Andrew Rhodes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast for Saturday, April 28th, 2018. Final Saturday of the month. Thank God for that. What do I got in store for you this week? Let's get into that, shall we? Let's just get this going. What do I have in store for you this week? Well, RWBY's A Mighty Arena brings the series to mobile devices. That's right, it's finally getting a mobile game. And I can hear the fans screaming in ecstasy now. Chicken Run is finally getting its sequel because it's in the works at RWBY. Yes, that's going to be fun. Or RWBY, or however you pronounce that thing. Studio Ghibli's theme park is being depicted in concept art, planning to open sometime in either 2020 or 2022. I think it's 2022. Ugh, it's even worse. Japanese fans have ranked Mobile Suit Gundam's females, and they're ranking them in the sexiest, apparently. Now, this list caught my attention for a reason, and I'm going to explain why when I get there. It's sort of an asinine list. Rurouni Kenshin is back. That's right, the manga is returning after the author's child pornography fine. Yes. We'll talk about that for a little bit, even though I don't want to, but it was a sort of an interesting topic. Plus, I figured that's some decent closure. And a manga author is begging their readers to buy the first volume, fearing cancellation of the series. All good things have to come to an end at some point in time. I mean, come on, we all know this song and dance, don't we? And possibly more stuff, who knows? However time allows. All that this time on the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. So just sit back, relax, and join me for the next hour or so of fun-filled entertainment as I blow your minds with information, make stupid jokes, and just complain in general about this stuff that I find. Because it's interesting and I have my 2 cents to throw in. So, let's start off with how my week went. And if you can't tell by my happy demeanor, it did not go well. Yeah, this week kind of Mega Super Ultra Blue. So what went wrong this week so far? What the hell didn't go right, basically? These are the only, and I'm going to say this so generously, these are pretty much the only things that have gone well for me this week. I got an extra day off because we didn't get a truck for yesterday, so I got an extra day off this week, which my wallet doesn't like, but I got to sleep in on a Friday. I don't mind that. Let's see, that's pretty much about it. Wow. Oh, no, that's pretty much it. Wow. One good thing. Yep. 7 days, one good thing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Alright, so what didn't go right this week? Well, there's a lot. A whole lot. So, I know I said a couple weeks ago, we got the car fixed. Yep. Still making the noise. Yep. Makes it now when I turn it on. Makes it when I turn, right when I start. Makes it if I really turn sharply, it makes the noise. So, I give up. I just got screwed by the mechanic. So be it. Apparently, I keep getting it as it is. So, fine. I'll just... Come on, life. Just keep giving it to me, basically. I've had one hell of a week so far. Might as well just keep it coming. Let's see. What else happened badly this week? Oh, so much. Oh, yes. Our desktop finally died after years of faithful service. We got this thing, I want to say back in like 2009, 2010. We got this desktop. It belonged to my aunt's mom. So, it was kind of nice. We got it. And hooked it up. Had it for the longest time. Hooked it up with Windows. It originally, I think, had XP on it, or Vista. I think it was XP. And then we put 7 on it, and then we upgraded it to 10, and it just died on us this week. My mom says that it ran really good on Wednesday. Everything was loading up faster than it ever did before, like it was a brand spanking new computer, and that should have been a sign. And then it just completely flatlines. And that was on Thursday. It's dead. I turned it on. All it did was just boot up to... Well, it wouldn't even boot up, really. It just kept spinning the fan in thermal throttling mode, like it was just like high-pitched like it would start off with, but it wasn't kicking on the hard drive. So I kind of figured out that it's probably the motherboard, which is great. means motherboard's dead. That's fine. So I got two options on that. Neither one I really want to do, but we kind of need the computer. It's not a luxury for us. We actually do use that to look stuff up for my grandfather and to check on things every now and then while he's sitting right there and while we're out there, because it's our desktop. It's the family computer. And my mom's using her laptop now, which I really don't want her to overextend that thing. But then I guess she uses that every night, so what do I really care? So I'm left with two options. Option one is to either fix a computer up myself by finding the parts that I need on like eBay and picking them up and Frankensteining a computer. Which, don't get me wrong, I would love to try, but let's face it, I'm not smart enough to do that. I mean, hell, I've been pretty much told by multiple people that I'm an idiot. So I should probably just start taking that as gospel at this point. Yes, I'm really having a good week. So I could do that, or right now I'm kind of looking at manufacturer refurbished computers on eBay, mostly like desktops and that. I found a couple that I like in the price range that I have to spend, which isn't a hell of a lot. So I'm kind of happy about that. So there is that option, which I'm kind of leaning towards that a little more than me trying to Frankenstein up a computer. Because let's just face it, I'm not really that good at Frankensteining stuff. I mean, I can MacGyver fix something. I fixed our sink, which apparently pissed off most of our family. I MacGyvered my glasses the one time, which pissed off family members. I MacGyvered... What the hell? Oh, I MacGyvered a fix for something else, which, again, pissed off family members. There's sort of a pattern going here. Every single time I fix something or MacGyver something, I just piss off family members when I do it because they don't like the way it looks or the way it seems. So there is that. On top of that, then on Monday, we got this lovely letter because I did start a GoFundMe to help pay my grandfather's medical bills. I thought it was one bill, but apparently it's two. And we got a letter on Monday from the collection agency that the one bill's gone to because the hospital wants their money, the collection agency wants the money. And when I did some research on the collection agency, apparently they're a lovely group of people where they'll actually take about an extra 10% that they'll tack onto your bill and to cover their fee, which then they take that 10% extra that they added on and they give whoever they're collecting for their half and keep the 10% extra as their, hey, this is for our services rendered. So that's kind of fun. So apparently my grandfather has two bills. I thought he only had one, but apparently it's two. So I started a GoFundMe a few weeks ago, I should say, to try to get that paid, at least get some money for that. It's got a whopping $0 on it. Whopping $0. Nothing, not a zip, zilch, kiss off. So I thought, I'll put up some of my excess junk on Craigslist and let's go. Because, hey, I can easily get cash for that. Put it down on the table, give it to my grandfather and go, here, use this to put towards your medical bill. And I was just inundated all week so far with joke comments, people telling me to go kiss off, and basically people telling me and calling me an asshole. So there was that. And then yesterday, on Friday, since I had the day off, after my mom and I did the laundry and the grocery shopping quick, I decided, hey, I'm going to go quick check a couple electronic stores, one electronic store and an office store, see if I can find a desktop. Good idea. I should have just went down to a computer place not too far from us. Probably would have spared myself the almost getting killed. Because as I'm coming back on the road after unsuccessfully checking out the Staples, which was the office store, I went to Best Buy and Staples. Best Buy had a nice one, but I wasn't going to pay the money for it because it was way out of my budget. And Staples had a nice one, but it was $100 more than my budget was already over for the one at Best Buy. So I'm like, okay. So both those options were out. And as I'm coming back from Staples, some car decides it wants to try to cross this on the road. It's like a 4-lane road, basically. There's 2 lanes on each side, and there's 2 side streets. And 2 side streets are connected yet, because that's still one street technically. But you have to cross the 4 lanes. Technically, I think there should be like a bridge or something over that. I really do. I will always think that. There should be like a 1-lane bridge over that you have to go on. But apparently nobody else does. So that's fine. Whatever. I think there should be. because it would avoid problems like this. As I'm coming down the road, the car decides, hey, I'm going to keep on going. Doesn't want to stop. I had to slam on the brakes, which, first off, I want to say worked beautifully, especially in the rain. Came to about maybe a couple centimeters to about half an inch from having an accident and wrecking my mom's car. So that was how my day yesterday went. And then just topped off with today, getting more angry emails from people that are just laughing at me. We put my stuff up on Craigslist and Let's Go, at least for the scrap metals, because that's what I put up. So it's like, all right. So I yanked down both of those ads for that because I got sick and tired of the jokes. I'm sick and tired of those jokes for it. So there was that. I realized that I should not ask my friends on Facebook for advice because most of my friends are still pissed off at me for not taking their help and assistance when I was looking for a job a few years ago because they wanted to drive me around and I didn't really feel like asking them for favors, mostly because, one, back then I was having a royal string of bad luck when it came to even getting an interview, and if I got an interview, it never went further than that. One temporary job that lasted a night was about it. And one that got me to like the training place, and that was literally it. And that was it. And both of those were prior to this little event with my friends, which pissed off a majority of them, to which I actually haven't really spoken to or gotten together with the majority of them since. The one I used to get together with a couple times a year, now we hardly ever speak. In all honesty, if we speak, it's either text messages or on Facebook. And that's kind of sad. But that's what ended up happening. So that's how my week's gone. My week has been a royal crap show. So I apologize if I seem a little pissed tonight, angry and annoyed. This is why. Because I literally just got done, I want to say maybe 30, 40 minutes ago. Because it's like 8:24 p.m. right now, my time. About 7:30-ish, I got done dealing with so almost an hour ago, basically. I got done dealing with the last and final email that I got within the span of this afternoon from people just royally giving me hell over this scrap metal that I put up on a Craigslist, making jokes and laughing at me. That was literally pretty much the end of it that I got sick and tired of. So I apologize in advance if I seem like I'm out of it, if I seem like I'm really cynical, if I'm pissed. I'm just sick and tired of this. I did a rant video. That'll be going up because I love doing rant videos, especially when something royally pisses me off, like the post office or just things in general. It just pisses me off, and I have to get screwed with it. So that's how my week's went. That's how my week is gone. My week has been a royal crapshoot. Doesn't really seem to be getting any better on the horizon. So I know we all have bad weeks. And the one good thing I had this week was I got an extra day off. Great. I mean, you can count the one coworker that I don't really get along with not showing up, but hey, all right, fine. I'll take an extra day off. You can count, so that'd be two if you want to count the one thing. Otherwise, I had one good thing in a literal sea of bad. That was how my whole week has gone. So yeah, that was a fun week. But anyway, let's get into the podcast. Enough about my horrible life. Nobody wants to hear about that. Believe me, if you did, I'd just start doing a blog. So let's get into this, shall we? Let's get into the podcast, and let's get on with this. Alright, so RWBY has announced that they are going to be making a great little thing here. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar with RWBY, I know my one fan out there should be very familiar with RWBY. I have not yet finished up to, I think it was like season 4 you asked me to, when I get up to that. I think I probably just got past season 2 when I get a chance to watch it. So, NHN Entertainment Corp. and Rooster Teeth have teamed up to bring the anime-inspired RWBY or RWBY animated series to mobile devices. That's right. In the form of RWBY Amity Arena. That's Amity Arena. The game will have players forming and customizing teams of huntsmen and huntresses and throwing down in the next Vital Festival. It's VYTAL. I know I'm probably mispronouncing that. If you watch RWBY Volume 3, then you'll be familiar with the action that went down at the Almaty Coliseum. RWBY Almaty Arena aims to capture that energy when it hits iOS and Android this year. So that's going to be kind of interesting. It's always neat when more apps come out, especially ones that are tied into really popular things. You always got like Dragon Ball apps. There aren't that many of those, but ones that do come out are worth checking out. Marvel apps. They just came out with a new ones like Strike Force, which doesn't really thrill me, but I still play Contest of Champions. Sword Art Online recently came, I got that. It's an alright game. Apparently there's only like 7 levels. They've only got like 7 floors done so far. If I read the one notification right, so that's kind of fun. And you have like tremendous amounts of other ones like Digimon, which constantly are made by Bandai Namco, Naruto, which Ninja Voltage kept glitching on me too badly, so that's why I ditched its butt. Plus the fact that it was like almost a freaking gig and a half. One Piece was fun till I got rid of that because it took up too much space and kept glitching all the time. So it's always nice when you have apps that come out with something that it's based on, like a series or something else that's still relatively popular and something that's easily watchable, so you can get into the flow and go, oh, cool, I really want that character. Oh, I really would like this character. Or, oh, it would be so cool to play as this character. So you have all that going on with one of these. So that's what kind of makes it fun. Alright, so with more information's going to be coming out later, but in the meantime, there was some promotional artwork, and there is an official Twitter and Facebook page. The promotional artwork, left a little bit to be desired in my opinion, but I don't know. I'll have the link to this article in the description so you can check out the picture. I think they have a link to the Twitter and Facebook page if you want to check those out, if you have social media. If not, I'll try my best to pretty much keep up to date on it. But it's still kind of fun. RWBY isn't a bad series. I've seen, like I said, I'm pretty sure I got like season 2 done, I think. I'd really have to double check that, like 100%. But it's not a bad series. I will say that. It is well done. It's very beautifully made. Gorgeously made, actually. It's good. Especially something that sort of came off of being like a web-based sort of look. It's not bad. It kind of rings into like what Chaotic should have looked like when it first came out, instead of the horrible Flash we had, like the horrible Flash design we had. It kind of looks like what Chaotic should have been, but it's so much better than that. Basically, the whole point of it, if I gathered it right, is they fight these like creatures. Like I said, I kind of grasped most of the plot. Like I said, my one fan is always knows more about this than I do. I can safely say that. They'll leave a comment. I know you will. I'm trusting you with this. Leave a comment to explain what exactly RWBY is. And, beautiful words. Just explain what RWBY is. Give like a plot synopsis for it. And, yeah. Because I understand it, like I said, to a point. I'm mostly just watching it for the animation, to be honest with you. The fight scenes and the cool, like, weapons and tech that they're using. That's pretty much why I'm watching it. The plot, in all honesty, is like a secondary nature to me. I'm watching it for the visual aesthetics. I'm watching it for the eye candy. The plot, to me, I can follow it if I actually sit down and follow the straight line from point A to point B. If I come in at like halfway through point A or something, I can't follow it. So, and like I said, I have to double check exactly how much I've checked up on. I'm pretty sure I'm only up to like season 2. I'm pretty sure on that, but I'm going to double check that. But anyway, so look forward to that. Coming out later this year, hopefully. I mean, you never know, development hell could happen for apps. It does happen, but there's something to look forward to for every RWBY fan out there. Because, hey, who doesn't like RWBY, right? Okay, who remembers back, way back to the year 2000? Y2K basically was a laughing stock. Everyone got their good chuckle in. And all those poor saps that decided to take out massive cash advances thinking that the computers were all going to be wiped out, they were going to be filthy stinking rich, were looking pretty freaking stupid. You want to know what Y2K actually did? It basically made old stuff from like the 80s that relied on 2-number systems instead of 4-digit. So instead of like 2-digit systems and 4-digit, obsolete. LGR basically just did a video about that. He got his hands on an Avon cosmetic computer. Actually kind of interesting. But it basically would not work with anything past 1999 because it wasn't set for 00, because you couldn't put anything in prior to 86. Or 80, I think it was like, no, it was 89, because he tried putting in 86. You couldn't put anything past like 89, I think. And so that's basically what Y2K basically did. Instead of it being a 2-digit system anymore because it was going to be 0001, 02, 03 ad infinitum, it should have been a 4-digit system to avoid that problem in the first place. 1989, 1990, 1991, and then, you wouldn't have had the issue. That's basically what it was. So, what does all this have to do with what I'm talking about? Chicken Run. That's right. Studio Canal and Pathé are on board for the follow-up to the 2000 original, which is still the most successful stop-motion animated feature of all time. Hey, Wallace and Gromit have their place in the world, but Chicken Run was a hell of a lot funnier. It really was. And what's funny, we honestly just watched that a couple weeks ago. I picked up the copy at work because my mom wanted to watch it. She goes, "Oh, your grandfather will like this," and she fitted the money for it. So I'm like, okay, I'll go pick up the copy. I'll pick it up after work. That's how we found out that my DVD player died, which was fun. that was fun. So Studio Canal and Pathé are on board for the follow-up to the original 2000 series, almost 20 years after Chicken Run became the most successful stop-motion animated film of all time, a record it still holds to this day. The Hollywood Reporter learned that the Aardman Animations is officially working on a sequel. Now, my question is, what possible sequel could you have for this? Because the end of the movie, they escaped. Spoiler, by the way, if you haven't seen this almost 20-year-old movie, they escaped. They escaped Tweety's farm and landed on a bird sanctuary, which they renamed the Chicken Sanctuary, and we're going to be living in peace. So, unless it's going to be like a whole new group of chickens, or you're just going to be showing the after effects where they have to escape this island or they have to find some new home, I don't see what the possible, I don't see what a possible sequel is going to be. It still sounds interesting, so don't get me wrong. Details of the project are scarce at the moment, with the movie not yet ready to hit the markets. Hollywood Reporter understood that the UK animation powerhouse is developing the pick alongside Studio Canal, with which it has partnered on its most recent titles, and Pathé, which co-financed the original with DreamWorks Animation, which distributed it in Europe. Yes, that's right. This was a DreamWorks baby. Apparently, I guess DreamWorks ain't in the forecast for this one, though I would imagine they would probably still hold the rights to the name. It might be a problem. Sam Feld, who earned an Oscar and BAFTA nomination for 2012's Paranorman. Blech. Sorry, I wasn't that great. Also helmed Aardman's Flushed Away in 2006. That was a good movie. I actually did enjoy that. Is attached to direct with Paul Q, 2015's Shaun the Sheep movie. Producing original writers Karen Kirkpatrick, Over the Hedge and Smurfs 2, and the Spiderwick Chronicles. Okay, Over the Hedge was good. Smurfs can just go away, and no. And John O'Farrell have been reunited to pen the screenplay. Aardman co-founder Peter Lord and David Spockton are executive producing. It's Sproxton. So if you know how to pronounce that, let me know. Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, the movie was good. The whole point of it was basically these chickens wanted to escape their life of constantly laying eggs. Then when they can no longer lay eggs, they're taken into this little room and they're beheaded and basically plumped, stuffed, and roasted. That was the entire premise of the movie. They wanted freedom. As my mom says, it was like a parody of, I think she said, The Great Escape. I think that's what she called it. It was funny. It was good. I liked it. It was interesting. The only downside is that it has George Clooney in it, but I could escape that for a few minutes. I could escape that for a few hours. I really could. So, telling the story of a group of plucky chickens attempting to escape certain death at the hands of their evil farm owner, and boasting a voice cast including the likes of Mel... Oh, sorry. It was Mel Gibson. My apologies. It was Mel Gibson. That's even worse. I'm sorry. It's Mel Gibson. I thought it was George Clooney. It's Mel Gibson. Ugh. I'm sorry. Mel Gibson, Timothy Spall. The film was also critically acclaimed with a 97% Rotten Tomatoes rating alongside BAFTA and Golden Globe nominations. 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is damn good. Holy shit. I didn't know it was that high. I mean, a lot of movies nowadays barely make it over like the 10% mark if they're that lucky. Although it hasn't been confirmed, Chicken Run 2 will likely go into production at Aardman Studios in Bristol after it wraps on Shaun the Sheep sequel, Farmageddon, which is due for release next year. Who the hell is naming these movies? Shaun the Sheep, Farmageddon? Really? That's almost as bad as Romeo and Juliet or Detective Sherlock Gnomes. Who names this crap? Puns are not funny. I constantly yell at the TV when the traffic guy comes on the 4 o'clock news because all he does are puns. Puns are not funny. A follow-up to Chicken Run has long been discussed, with an online petition backing the idea launching last year. I mean, sequels to movies are inevitable. When The Incredibles came out, fans were demanding an Incredibles 2. And I read an article once stating that there were a few of the the voice actors were on board for it, but they couldn't collaborate a schedule. So it's like, okay, we won't do a sequel yet, but we'll have it on the back burner. Now Incredibles 2 is coming out later this year. When Wreck-It Ralph came out, you knew that was getting a sequel. There was no way that was just going to be a one-hit wonder. That was getting a sequel. Back to the Future, they teased it at the end of the first one. Of course, that became a trilogy, but the third movie really isn't that great. The Karate Kid, that was a trilogy. You don't count the next Karate Kid, the original 3. Should have just been a 2 movie because the third one sucked. So many good movies have sequels. If you're lucky enough to get a trilogy, don't piss that away. Don't screw it up in the last movie. Don't screw it up in number 3. But as far as sequels are concerned, a lot of good movies get a sequel, especially ones that are horrible, can end up getting a really good sequel, and nobody will want to go see it because they remember the first one being so bad, like Short Circuit. Short Circuit 2 is beautiful. Short Circuit 1 sucks. The Mummy. The original one blows, but The Mummy... what the hell was the name of the second one? The Mummy Returns. That's what it was. The Mummy Returns was a lot better than The Mummy. Literally. Loads, leaps and bounds better. The Mask of Zorro was an alright movie, but its sequel was better. So many movies have the tendency of creating a good world that fans will want a sequel to. So it's an inevitable thing. But the fact that this one took it almost 20 years to get is amazing to me. I mean, I know when I saw The Incredibles, the first thing I was thinking of was, well, we're going to get a sequel. I didn't know it was going to take, a few years to get. But I'm like, we're going to get a sequel. We're getting a sequel. Took over a decade, but we're finally getting one. There's like so many that I've seen that got decent sequels and that never got a sequel and still deserve one. Spaceballs is a good movie, but it never got a sequel, and fans were hoping they would have had one. Then again, Mel Brooks could not get away with half that stuff nowadays in movies. No way. But stuff like that is what a lot of moviegoers want. If it's a good movie, they're going to clamor for a sequel. They're going to want to see the next line and the next, story arc. They're going to want to see it continue. They're going to want to know what happens after the first one ends. And those crappy end credits don't do them justice. But there you go. Chicken Run's getting a sequel. About damn time. It took it almost 20 years, but it's honestly worth it at this point. Sad part is, it's probably going to take it about 2 more years before it ever comes out in theaters, so it probably will be about 20 years, or a little over 20 years. But hey, it's worth the wait, I guess. At least I hope. It could suck. You never know. Alright, move over, Disney. Take a backseat, Hershey. And Knobles and Dorney, don't even bother. Because Studio Ghibli is coming up with their own theme park. I forgot about Universal Studios. Yeah, you can take a backseat too. Studio Ghibli's theme park is going to pretty much be what every anime fan's dream is. Not every anime fan, because you don't know what my dreams are like. You really don't. And what will no doubt be a dream come true for many anime fans, Studio Ghibli is getting its own theme park in Japan. The opening is now scheduled for sometime in 2022, and on a 200-hectare plot of land in Nagoya. Hectare. Okay. I don't know how big that is, so I'll Google that. I'll Google that while I'm talking about it. Let's see, so where was I? Okay. And concept art has surfaced, providing an idea of what the experience could be like. Could be like. It's not going to be the wonderful world of, Disney here, but it's going to be Studio Ghibli. So you're going to have like Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro. There we go. Okay, 200 hectare is 494.211 acre. Okay, that doesn't really help me here. Let me hectares to feet. Hectares to feet. Okay, that doesn't help me either. Because it gives me square foot. I don't want square foot. Alright. So there you go. It's 494.211. Math is never fun. Visitors can look forward to a mix of natural surroundings and areas based on classic Studio Ghibli anime films, from Kiki's Delivery Service to Princess Mononoke and beyond. Yeah. I always like Kiki's Delivery Service. Ponyo was a good movie. My Neighbor Totoro wasn't too bad. Not really a big fan of Princess Mononoke. I could stand The Secret World of Arrietty to a point. I couldn't watch anymore. Spirited Away, though, is still one of my favorites. It's one of the few I have yet to actually get. So, some of the images which I can say I'll try to have up, but if I won't, link in the description. So, you got one that illustrates the village from Princess Mononoke, the interior and overhead view of the Ghibli warehouse, which will have a themed play area, cinemas, and other attractions. The main gate will feature a recreation of the antique shop from Whisper of the Heart, and structures similar to those in Howl's Moving Castle. Witch's Valley mashes up the themes and locations of Kiki's Delivery Service and Howl's Moving Castle. I'd rather just Kiki's Delivery Service be its own little, alleyway. Oh, hon. The house from My Neighbor Totoro is still in place thanks to its presence at the 2005 World's Fair. If you like to book a ticket to visit the place in person, well, hopefully you can. I don't know how, but would you like to? Would you want to book a ticket? Would you like to go see Studio Ghibli stuff live and in person? Well, if it's anything like Disneyland, it's probably going to cost you $170 just to park. Not to mention the fact that you're probably going to be walking around and it's going to cost you like $30 just for a soda. Yeah, no. That's one of those I kind of think it'll be nice to look at, but I don't want to go to visit. Then again, I could be wrong, but I have no chance of getting over to Japan anytime soon. As much as I'd love to, I have no chance. But it's still nice, though, that we're getting some anime parks based off of a beloved movie company. Studio Ghibli does a lot of great anime films. Kiki's Delivery Service, Spirited Away, Ponyo are three of my all-time favorites and always will be. Howl's Moving Castle, I can get behind it to a point, but not entirely. Princess Mononoke, I will not touch with a 10-foot pole. My Neighbor Totoro isn't bad, provided you just avoid really thinking about it. It's one of those, watch it, let your mind wander, don't think about the plot. Trust me, don't think about the plot. But otherwise, they're all good movies. The Secret World of Arrietty, I think, is about the one loser out of the bunch. I liked it, I watched it, but it felt forced. It felt rushed. It felt like they were just literally just walking around screwing you over. And at the end of the movie, it's giant middle finger time. Here you go, middle finger, suck on it. And that's what it felt like to me. So I was like, yeah, no. It would have been a much better story had it have gone a different way, but yeah, no. Otherwise, it's not too bad. But yeah. So anyway, Ghibli Park, if you find yourself over in, what was it, Nagoya? I think it was. Nagoya? How was that? Yeah, Nagoya. If you find yourself over in Nagoya, check out Studio Ghibli's park when it opens sometime in 2022 on the 200-hectare plot of land. Wow. That just sounds so minuscule when you compare it, doesn't it? Alright, when you think Gundam, you think massive robots beating the crap out of each other with beam swords, beam rifles, a completely wonderful space opera played out for you so much better than Star Wars. Okay, I probably just pissed off some Star Wars fans, but I'm sorry, a majority of the series is better than any Star Wars movie ever. And I'm even counting the third movie, Revenge of the Sith, which actually is one of my favorites. Yeah, it is. What you don't think of when you think of Gundam is the sexiest females. But apparently, some Japanese fans have taken to ranking Mobile Suit Gundam's sexiest females in a top 10 list. And personally, I don't see that here. I'm being honest. When I think Gundam, I'm thinking robots beating the crap out of each other, cinematic space opera, beautiful story. That's what I envision. I don't think which chick is the most attractive. I seriously don't. But anyway, there's a list. I read the list. I'm not exactly happy with the list. And I'm going to explain why I'm not happy with the list. Besides the fact that a majority of it deals with characters that are young. Keep in mind, age of consent in Japan varies by prefecture, so you can't really argue with them. Still, it's kind of creepy, but just giving you that heads up so you don't think I'm, creepy. It varies by prefecture. Hate to break it to you. Google it. It really does. And I can thank MatPat for explaining that to me. Bastard. Anyway, the ranking site Goo has asked fans to list Gundam's sexiest females. And since the franchise stretches back all the way to 1979, there's a fair amount of competition here. But the top 10 are as follows. Coming in at number 10, Fumina Hoshino from Gundam Build Fighters Try. And this is why I made my comment that I made about, prefectures and consent and prefectures vary. That entire series takes place in middle school for these kids. So that's why I made that comment. There you go. That's why I said it. Don't shoot me. That's why I said it. I did this to forewarn people. Okay? I can understand why they would probably pick it. It was probably for certain prefectures that voted for. I'm just letting you know now. It's called Google, okay? I got it out there, so you know. She came in number 10. And I do apologize if I mispronounce any of these names, because I've never probably heard of the majority of them. Or I've never heard it pronounced in English. You have Kalagi Yula Atta from Gundam Seed at number 9. Anali Sahalin from the 8th MS team at number 8. That's an ironic one. Rain Mikamura from G Gundam is number 7. Now that I kind of find insulting, and I want to explain why. There was a part in that one where she had to don the control suit. I will admit, it made me kind of wish there were more female Gundam pilots at that point. Mostly for the fact that she could kick ass until she got her butt handed to her by an actual mobile suit piloted by a human. She was able to do pretty well. Also for the fact that she did not look too bad in the suit, but mostly she did a very good job kicking ass and taking names, then becoming the person controlling the final Gundam in the thing because they needed a female heart to control it, and the love story that blossomed between her and Domo and Kashu is just... It's what makes a space opera, damn it! It really does. Number 6, from Gundam Seed Destiny, Stellar Lassier. Never heard of her. Number 5, I'm not kidding, for Marsami from Zeta Gundam. I actually have heard of this one, mostly because I played a lot of the Gundam games, like Encounters in Space, Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2, and a lot of these characters are in that, because you have to battle like the mobile frames, the psycho frame, and that. And she was piloting the psycho frame. In fact, she actually saved Camille at the one point by sacrificing herself so that he would be saved. So it's actually pretty cool. Lumaria Hawk from Gundam Seed Destiny comes in at number 4. She actually was a playable character from Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2. Not exactly a bad character, but I could not get past her story mode because it consisted of 2 chapters, one of which was locked. No matter what you did, it never unlocked. I never could figure out how to unlock it before my PS2 died, so that was sad. Number 3, Katagino Luce from Victory Gundam. Victory Gundam honestly just recently came out to where the US can see it, so I honestly have not seen that one yet. I have heard the name. I think she was one of the characters that you could play in Dynasty Warriors Gundam 2. Have not actually played that game in a while, because I don't have a PS2 anymore. And I'm not exactly 100% sure, so don't shoot me, but I do know it does. I do know that she's, there. Coming in at number 2, Sala Mass from Mobile Suit Gundam. An original character. Yeah, Mobile Suit Gundam was a good starting point, but by nowadays standards, any Gundam series is good. Heck, I actually liked Reconquisting G, and people say that was garbage. I liked it, until I can no longer watch it in my country. Thank you, Gundam Info. And coming in at number 1. Now, you would imagine this might be Relina Peacecraft from Gundam Wing, right? Or maybe, just maybe, a character from Iron-Blooded Orphans? Gundam Unicorn? Zeta Gundam? Double Zeta Gundam? Anything? Nope. It's another Gundam Seed character, Lacus Klein. I'm not joking. Lacus Klein came in at number 1. Honestly. I don't know whether to laugh or cry at that. And that was one of the reasons why I found this list so disturbing. 4 out of the top 10 came from Seed or Seed Destiny. Character designer Hisashi Hira. Give yourself a pat on the back. But who are your favorite Gundam ladies? Well, Lacus Klein doesn't even come close to hitting my top 10. I'm sorry, she really doesn't. I'll take Relina Peacecraft Oh god. Ray Mikimura's definitely at least in my top 10. Oh god, what was the name of the one? Oh jeez, it's gonna bug me. This is why it sucks when you like a series and you can't follow it 100%. You can't remember everybody's name. Oh god, there was the one that followed Zex Marquis in Gundam Wing. Naomi something or other. There's so many better ones in this list. I'm sorry, there really are. But anyway, that was the top 10 list. You can blame the internet for that one. Blame the ranking site Goo. Never heard of that site, and I hope I never do again, because that list was awful. Alright, let's get the taste of that bad list out of my mouth with an even worse taste, apparently. So, I talked about this way back in the day. Now, remember, I talked about this, I think it was last year. Pretty sure it was last year. I know I talked about it not too long ago. At least I did like a little blurb of it, I think. But anyway, Rurouni Kenshin. We all know that the manga author was found with child pornography, faced the fine, and has paid the fine. The fine was 200,000 yen, which came out to be about $1,845 American. But he did not face jail time as a result. Jump SQ. I instantly think Shonen Jump, but it's Jump SQ apparently. Is here with news that Watsuki's Rurouni Kenshin Hokkaido Arc manga will resume in the magazine on June 4th. The downside I have with this is the damage already too great that it can't be undone? Now, I know that there are Rurouni Kenshin fans out there that will follow the series regardless of whatever the author does. I mean, in all honesty, there was once a story I read where an author of a book murdered several people, and fans didn't know about it for like several years. And then after they found out, they still bought the book because people were going, oh yeah, but it's a really good book. Have you read it? I'm not going to read it. It was from some serial killer. Yeah, but it's a good book though. And it was written long before that happened. So you have people that will read something regardless, but then you have some that won't touch it because of what the author did. And that's the sad thing I kind of think might happen with this. And as much as I'd like to say I hope it's wrong, but let's face it, the manga's going to have some issues and some hurdles to overcome now because of this. And Jump SQ is pretty much on top of this. They apologized for the hiatus and had the following to say about concerns surrounding the manga's return. And they are quoted as saying, the author spends his days reflecting and with remorse, and we, in brackets, think as though it's our obligation as a publisher as well as his as an author to, again in brackets, make a way for us to reply through the work to the various options we have been getting, or opinions we have been getting. And so, from the July issue, which goes on sale June 4th, serialization will resume. So, they're basically going with, okay, we know the author did wrong. The author's royally boned about it. They know they're boned about it. They're out the money for it. They know they're screwed. They're literally, at this point, you're on borrowed time. If you really think about it, you're literally on borrowed time. And it's like they do one thing wrong, or if, in all honesty, I kind of see two things happening here. If the ratings for it coming back tank even in the slightest, like it ranks 15 or 20 in the magazine, they're yanking it. Damned if it's done or not, they're going to yank it. If the author does even one thing out of the ordinary, or one thing that they find offensive, it's going to get yanked. He's literally going to have to dot every single I, cross every single T, until this is 100% completed. And this is honestly, it should have been worse. I'm going to say it. while I did like Rurouni Kenshin, I will admit that it was a good series. When you have something like this happen, that old saying, their name is mud, does work here a lot. Now, he openly admitted it. So, he basically admitted that, yes, I did have it. You were found in possession of it. So, in all honesty, he should honestly really be happy that he's still able to do his manga series. Because I keep saying Shonen Jump. It's Jump SQ. Jump SQ could have easily looked at him and said, we're not taking you back. We don't need this bad publicity. We don't care if you paid a fine. Do you know how many crap letters we're going to get from fans, from people telling us that we screwed up by hiring you back? Do we look stupid to you? And they could have easily just said, no, you're not coming back. We don't want you back. Get the hell out of here and don't set one foot here again. And they could have easily done that. The fact that they're bringing him back means that they're going to scrutinize every single thing he does. Like I said, dot every I, cross every T. It's almost like if you have a job, you're wrongfully terminated, you take them to court over it, and they decide, okay, you were right, you were wrongfully terminated, we'll hire you back. You literally have to dot every single I, cross every single T. You do one thing out of alignment, they will be on your ass in a matter of seconds. Oh, you were 1 second late coming back from break. You're fired. And they'll go, oh, no, you were late coming back. They'll say, they won't care if it was by 1 second, because you already took them to court once for it. Double jeopardy will have attached. So you can't take them again. At least, I'm pretty sure that's how the second part of double jeopardy would work, if you win or lose the case. Mostly if you win, though, but you won't be able to take it again because the same thing will happen. But at this point, it's like, okay, we gave you your job back. You have to dot every single I, cross every single T. And that's what what the hell's his name? Nobuhiro Watsuki, he's going to have to do this for the rest of his life. So long as he still creates this manga, he's going to have to dot every I, cross every T. One line of that drawing cannot be out of alignment at all. If one line is so much lighter or out of proportion, his ass is grass. At this point, in all honesty, I would have just looked at him and said, we're not bringing it back. That's the end of it. Because you don't know the fallout from this. Now, granted, it's been minuscule at best right now, but having this come back could all of a sudden ricochet to a much worse scale. Because somebody could up and go, no, we don't want it back. There's a reason we don't want it back. And the next thing you know, oh great, now we have the fans upset. The fans are pissed off. Oh no, we don't need this crap. We don't need them jumping down our throats. No. And that's the fallout that you could end up having from this. So, while it's a good thing that a manga series, which you really can't blame a series for its creators doing. That's almost like blaming the child for something the parents do. You can't blame and shun the child because of how the parents are. The child has nothing to do with the parents. Just because they're related doesn't mean they have anything to do with them. But when it comes to this, at least the manga, I'd say finish up the arc that you're on and then just end it. Because you're literally on borrowed time as it is. Like I said, dotting every I, crossing every T is what he's going to have to do now. And he should have just, honestly, they should have just terminated the contract, said, we're done with you. We're done with it. We want nothing more to do with it. Because you're pitching this to kids and teenagers. That's the last thing you want, is to have an author that was fined for possession of child pornography to be drawing for your magazine. Like I said, and this is a subject that I really tried to talk about very tiptoeingly. I don't like going into this because I watched Law & Order SVU. It disturbs me. But with Rurouni Kenshin, this caught my attention because it's almost like every couple weeks now you hear an update on this. Okay, he was fined. Okay, he was found in possession. Okay, he was fined. Okay, they're bringing back the manga. And it's like, why? I mean, I understand the whole need to bring it back, but I honestly would have just terminated the contract, said we're done with you, we don't need this bad publicity with us. While yes, it would hurt not having an author and a creator on your staff anymore, I guarantee you there's at least 100 people in Japan that would be begging at the door to take his spot. 100 begging at the door. Even if they suck, that's 100 one-shots you could have like a couple chapters of. You never know. One could be good. But with this, I mean, you apologize for the hiatus, so it's almost like the company wants to go, okay, we know that it's wrong, we know that what he did was wrong, we did not know he did it, but that doesn't mean that you have to please don't come after us because of your thoughts and your opinions on it. We want to reply to the work, through the work on the various opinions that we've been getting, and the various options, stuff like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said, if I would have been in Jump SQ's shoes, I honestly probably would have just said, okay, we got two options. We can either take him back, scrutinize him, watch him like a hawk. If he so much as has one hair on his head out of alignment, he's done. Or I honestly would have just said, let's just terminate his contract, sever our connection, because this can go one of two ways, like I said. Either you're going to get the fans back, they're going to forgive him, or they're just going to sit through it for the sake of finishing the arc, or you're going to have the fallout of, why did you bring this back? And either way, both sides are bad. So, it is returning on the June 4th, for the July issue. It will be coming back, so there you go. I don't know what the fallout's going to be for this. It might be bad. I don't know. Things could get worse, so just take it with a grain of salt, basically. I don't like talking about this stuff. It pisses me off. It bugs me. It doesn't feel good. But there you go. Jump SQ is bringing back Rurouni Kenshin's Hokkaido arc starting in the July issue. So there you go. That's what you can take away from it. Alright, and speaking of manga artists, there's a manga author that is right now begging and pleading with buyers and readers to buy the first volume, fearing cancellation of the series. Now this happens, although crying about it, begging and pleading are not things you should ever do, but it does happen. Taro Okanashi is the author of the manga Desordre, a serene fantasy series set in medieval France, which has been serialized in Gekken Morning 2 since last year. The first compiled volume of Desordre, and it's Desordre, has not been selling well. It's been selling so poorly, in fact, that Okanashi posted the following handwritten note on Twitter last week. So that's great for your non-Japanese speaking fans, unless you can write in English. Your non-Japanese speaking fans, really great. In quotation marks here. So, I quote, "I regret to announce that due to the extremely low sales of the first volume of Desordre that was released last week, the manga, which is currently being serialized in Gekken Morning 2, will be canceled after the next 2 chapters." It keeps going. However, if this first volume sells enough to require a second edition printing, it might possibly get a second chance at continuing. If there is anyone who wishes to see Desordre continue to be serialized, can I please ask you to share this tweet and advertise the manga for me? I know that it is extremely shameful for me to do this, but I felt that if I didn't try anything and Desordre is canceled at this point, I would regret it for my whole life, so I wrote this letter. If Volume 1 still doesn't sell after this, I will know that it is because of the demerits of the manga and of myself, and I will accept its cancellation. Thank you very much for your help, Taro Okanashi. So, I want to first off go off with this. You never, ever beg that your series is going down the toilet. That would be like having a television show, the ratings go downhill so fast that all of a sudden you have the cast just come out before the next episode starts going, hi, you watched episode 1, you watched episode 2, somewhere along the line y'all stopped watching by episode 3. We're close to cancellation. The network is ready to yank the plug on this show. Please, this is paychecks for people. We're celebrities. We're not all rich and famous. There's camera crew. There's people out do stuff behind the scenes. They'll be out of work. Please, don't let this show get canceled. Just at least have your TVs on. We don't care if you're actually watching us. Doodle on your tablets. Read a book. Play with yourselves. We don't care. Just don't let us get canceled, please. This is all we got left anymore. So, there is that. But at least Okanashi is admitting that it is extremely shameful for him to do this. Yes it is. Because you're basically trying to promote yourself with yourself. Well, okay, self-promotion does work. When it comes to stuff like this, if the plot and the animation and the drawings weren't good, I should just say drawings. It's not really animated unless you flip the pages really fast and it looks like it. If they suck, there's probably a reason for this. Either you weren't that good, or it's just not hitting that niche market that you're gearing it towards. Unfortunately, Desorde has a lot of challenges to contend with. The magazine it's serialized in is not terribly popular to begin with. It's only had 11 chapters to garner reader interest, and its first volume has had only a week to bring in sales. Furthermore, his plea to Twitter only seemed to bring bad publicity with replies as such. Here's where we go. Let's read the Twitter replies for this, shall we? How disgraceful. If your manga is interesting, people will buy it. If you don't have any real ability, and that's why this is happening. You should be ashamed for relying on others for your own gain. If you had the time to write this, you should have worked harder on your manga. Oh, that kind of hurts. Let's see here. It might be hard for you to hear that your story is getting canceled, but when something is cut off after just 12 chapters, it's probably because you need to do more to make your story appealing. A really interesting manga will sell itself without you having to say anything about it. That's damn true. Manga artists in the past didn't have social media to help them, and when their stories were canceled, they had to start from scratch again. Again, very true. Learn from your mistakes. Old saying. Other netizens applauded Okanashi's efforts, but criticized his execution, suggesting that tweeting images and plot points from the manga would have done more to incite curiosity. Others had more positive replies. I think your approach of doing everything you can up until the very end is great. I read the first chapter. It was interesting. I ordered it on Amazon. I'll be rooting for you. I read the 2 free chapters. I'm not joking. It thought it was good, so I picked up a copy. Apparently people in Japan can't type on Twitter. Then again, it was probably a phone, because I have that same thing with my tablet every now and then, where I'll type a word and it'll suddenly autocorrect it, and it pisses me off because it autocorrects the wrong word. So I can't really blame that, but still, somebody proofreading the article should have caught that. At the very least, Okanashi's post was liked and retweeted over 21,000 within only a few days. So the effort was definitely not completely wasted. He's also not the only author to have ever begged readers for more sales, with Gantz author Hiroya Oku asking readers to forgive the used manga market, or to forego the used manga market and buy his titles new instead. There's a used manga? Oh yeah, there is a used manga market, of course. I've been trying to sell some on eBay. There's a used manga market. So, it's a good and a bad thing, but in all honesty, I kind of have to agree with the one. Now, I don't agree with the first negative comment saying that, it's disgraceful. You're self-promoting. Keep in mind, we're in the newer age. You have social media. That's how you connect with a lot of people. Print magazines and print stuff are going the way of the dodo bird and the dinosaurs. They're going extinct. So if you want to get people's attention, online copies are the way to go. How do you do this? You have to promote it. Self-promotion isn't exactly a bad thing anymore. Yes, it's kind of bad when manga artists do it and when manga authors do it, but the thing is, it's the new age. This is the way we're in. A friend of mine just recently made a comment the other day, and it actually really shocked me because she usually complains about millennials more than my coworkers and more than anybody else I've ever known. But she goes, it amazes her how all these millennials come up with their own ways to make money versus the older generation that would constantly go out and get jobs. Yeah, because the older generations, and I was explaining this to my mom because our friend made a point, and it was sort of interesting. When she said that, I'm like, well, yeah, because my grandfather's generation would go out and work in a factory or on farms. My mom's generation would go work in factories. My generation goes for, like, office jobs or, simplistic jobs. Ones that we can do while trying to do other stuff at the same time. And then the millennials, which apparently I fall into the millennial crowd, but my generation also is branching off into the other things. We do come up with more unique ideas. I mean, we sell stuff on eBay, Etsy, Letgo, Craigslist. There's like all that crappy Bitcoin stuff. There's a lot of stuff that people do, at least millennials do, to make money. So that's self-promoting it, though. Because if you create something, you have to self-promote it. Like if you make an app, well, you're going to self-promote the crap out of that because it's your baby. You want to say how good it is. Oh, well, I made this really great app. It allows you to translate this and this and this. Or, oh, well, it's a really cool app. It allows you to check out a 3D image of something that you scan in. It allows you to see what it looks like on the inside, get measurements of it and everything else. Just by tapping the button, it tells you by best estimate what it is. Stuff like that. You're going to self-promote this. But to flat out tell the person they don't have any real ability and no real talent kind of sucks. Well, yes, they could work harder on the manga. I'm not going to deny that. Everything can be improved. They're self-promoting it, which in this day and age, like I said, it was shameful. I'll say this. The older generation that did manga back when it started coming out, yes, that would have been shameful going around and begging. And a lot of those older traditions do still play an important role in Japanese culture today. But with this, you do have to realize we are in a new era. Welcome to the 21st century, folks. We are in the new era where social media is the king. Where the way you're going to connect with readers, the way you're going to connect with people is by tweeting and Facebooking and Instagramming and Snapchatting and things like that. It's not just one of those, oh, hey, send them a letter, tell them how much you like it, and 6 to 8 weeks later you'll get a reply back. Whereas nowadays, you can send a celebrity a message and say, hey, we liked your new show, anything else you're working on that you can tell us about, and they'll go, oh yeah, we're doing this, this, and this. Or an author that writes a book, they're going to do this, this, and this. It's self-promotion and it does work, and that's basically what this is now. Okanashi, I really don't think you did too bad with this. Well, yes, I kind of think that you did go a little overboard begging, and I do mean a little overboard. You didn't do too bad. In all honesty, though, and I'm going to say this, and I immediately mean no disrespect to it, you can honestly just open up a DeviantArt account, draw your manga, plop it up on DeviantArt, start a Patreon, and earn a living that way and forego the print magazine if you really want to do that. Otherwise, it isn't that bad of an idea. I just wouldn't have. I would have found a way to better word your message to the fans. That's honestly what I would have done. I would have worded it a little better, but otherwise, you didn't do too bad. I hope it does better, but let's face it, if it doesn't sell, learn from your mistakes, learn what didn't make it good, ask your fans, okay, what didn't you like about it, what did you like about it, and then figure out what was wrong and improve upon it, because everything can be improved. But yeah, I mean, that's the age we're in now. It is the 21st century, so we got to get used to that. Alrighty. That's going to pretty much do it this week for the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. Hopefully next week I'll have a better week leading into the podcast. But just in case I don't, if you have any topic ideas that you'd like me to talk about, anything that you see out on the internet, keep in mind I will not touch political and I will not touch religious topics. So those two are out. But if you see anything out there that you'd like me to talk about, that you think is interesting and you'd like to hear my thoughts on it, feel free to send them to me. Either plop them in the discussion page on my YouTube channel, tweet them to me at Otake Roads, send them to me at on my Facebook wall, Web Designer 18 on Facebook, or check me out on. Well, that's pretty much it. Or no, you can email them to me at acrpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget, because I know I forgot to talk about this as I was in a really pissed off mood when I started the podcast tonight. I did kind of improve a little bit, but that's mostly because I think I got a little more tired, which kind of drained most of my energy. If you're in the mood for collectibles, oddities, and weird stuff, feel free to check out my eBay page, ARHOADS-2012 on eBay. I actually do have some new stuff up. I'm selling some stuff for a friend of mine, so I actually do have some new stuff up. Some cat collectible stuff. There's a Spider-Man pillow. I got, there's some Smallville DVDs that are up, that are going to end they'll end by the time I have this podcast up. Never mind. That'll be ended by the time I have this up, unless it doesn't get paid for, but it'll end before this podcast goes up. So yeah, if you're interested in any of that stuff, check out my eBay page. ARHOADS-2012 on eBay. And until next time, I'm Andrew Rhodes, and this has been the Absolutely Completely Random Podcast. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.